Hello. Okay, wait. What is fusion food? I asked experts.
For me, fusion food is just kind of combining flavors from all around the world and creating like a really good cohesive dish that doesn't exist otherwise.
But what can fusion food teach us about culture? Hi, my name is Montserrat Pagan, and in this video, I'm going to talk about how fusion food can be a kind of stepping stone into a world of cooking and culture. Merriam-Webster defines culture as the customary beliefs, social forms, and material traits of a racial, religious, or social group. Since my channel is focused on New York City, I wanted to talk to a few experts in the culinary industry to kind of help to understand identity and culture and fusion food. First, I talked to Connie.
My name is Connie, and I am the chef and owner of Soy and Love Kitchen based in New York. I actually grew up in New York, in Brooklyn, and then I've lived all around the city. We didn't do takeout or eat out much. It was always like very much like home cooking. Growing up, like making dumplings, and I think I was lucky that pretty much every day, like I had home cooked dinner. Back then you didn't have the internet as much, so I used to go to the bookstore and browse through book on baking and pastries, and I would try and experiment with them. I started cooking professionally probably for about 13 years now. So, like, I have a wedding coming up where it's Korean and Indian. One of the appetizers I have on there are chicken and kimchi samosas. So it's kind of Korean food. There's a lot of fermented vegetables. So kimchi is like a big one, usually using cabbage. Um, and so they have their gochujang, which is their spicy chili paste. And then with Indian flavors, there's a lot of cumin and chili, coriander. So they also have their spices. It's just different spices.
What would you say to people wanting to explore New York City cuisine?
I think, especially the outer boroughs, like in Brooklyn and Queens, especially, we have, I think, the more authentic kind of cuisines. And so I would say, like, definitely venture out. All right, thank you.
Have a
Bye.
good day. So, I wanted to share a bit of historical context. Very famously known for being an immigrant city, you have Ellis Island. At the turn of the 19th century, when you think of, for example, Southern Italian immigrants in the late 1800s and early 1900s that created Little Italy in downtown Manhattan, they had to adapt to the US. One example mentioned by the Museum of the City of New York is the kind of switch from traditional wood fire stone ovens to the use of bread ovens when arriving in New York City, because that's what people had access to. But this allowed for larger pizzas and eventually evolved into New York style pizzas. This kind of allows for a kind of change into American Italian, or even with Chinatown, American Chinese food. Another person I talked to was Gail.
Yeah, so my name is Gail Schoenberg, and I'm a publicist based in the Northeast or tri-state area, and I've been doing PR for about 30 years in the food and beverage hospitality realm. I think a lot of the melding of cuisines are coming a little bit closer. In the 90s, it was much more like a lot of Japanese flavor profiles were being, kind of incorporated in like French food dishes that were normally known as French, but with like, maybe lemongrass flavors like that, which are known for, an Asian cuisine. You know, now a lot of the Latin, like you see more tacos on a menu than you ever did before, but the restaurant might not be Mexican or Latin.
Thank you so much. My family is Mexican and Puerto Rican. One of my favorite places is, this is not sponsored, Taco Mahal in the West Village, and it's basically Indian Mexican fusion. They sell like chana masala, roti tacos, and they give you the soda, the jarrito soda, and personally that's one of the places that I always bring my friends, because to me it's comforting having like a drink that I've known my whole life, and then also kind of getting to experiment with new flavors. Finally, I talked to Perfecte Rocher, who I admit is not in New York City, but I thought would kind of give a good example onto how somebody's personal identity, as well as where they're living and who they're exposed to, can impact what they cook in the kitchen.
I'm a chef now. I'm running a big company in San Diego. I come from a family that owned restaurant in Valencia in Spain, but I never won a war when I was young. And after I traveled to London when I was 17, I started working in a Michelin restaurant. I started for a dishwasher, but all is Spain food. No, that was my basic element. And after, when I went to Michelin, I learned more like a French style. And after, when I come to United States, I learned more like to fusion everything and start to using everything you find around you that will work in your culture to integrate it. Yeah, when you're in California, usually because it's more Mexican people here, we are near to Mexico, you use more influence of Mexican, and you use also the influence of Japanese people and some Korean too. In New York, I think it's more European, it's more Italian and French everywhere. They have other cultures. They have Ethiopian food, they have Thai, they have, it's like LA, no? New York has so many diversity. American food for me is a mix. Bueno, pues muchas gracias.
What am I trying to say with all these interviews? I think the reason for talking about fusion food is to give an introduction into how New York City is a community, and one way to anchor understanding what it means to be a community is by starting off with food. So yeah, I hope you are just as excited as me to go and explore new foods and cuisines in New York City. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I especially want to thank the people I interviewed today. So that would be Connie, Gail, and Perfecte. I'll see you. Bye.